Shit, are we live? Are we actually live for once? I think we are. I'm gonna wait for more people to start popping out, start going in the room. All the poor refugees from Fighters Channel. I'll let them all come in. Why not? All those poor Haitians. Let them all in. All right, so I have probably zero live viewers, I want to say. It's been a while. I've got like fucking one guy here, Indio Loco. Salute. And he's probably, my guess is he's probably a refugee from Fighters Channel because they're probably talking about something mind-numbingly stupid. And he just didn't have the patience to hear or listen to it anymore. I could be wrong though. Maybe Fighter chose good people on his stream today, but that's not a super likely outcome, all things considered. Now, let's see. We got Manuel saying yo. We got Indio Loco. We got 3 people in the house. If we got enough people, maybe I'll turn my webcam on, but we'll see. Let's see here. Hello, remember me from Telegram? I actually don't. Sorry. There's a lot of people that message me on Telegram. I'm sure you're a decent enough guy, but I don't know you. Okay, so I got like, I think probably 5 people watching, I want to say. It's not bad. How do I actually sound? How does the sound feel? Like, is my microphone good? I mean, I'm guessing it probably is. So what are we going to talk about today before Noel does his stream? Because I'm not going to make my stream at the same time as Noel's. That's kind of shitty. Jose says chorizo. All right. Manuel says the audio is good. That's good to hear. That's great to hear. Wonderful. Let me put the StreamYard link where I actually trust people, which is not in this YouTube chat. Yeah, you guys have long abused your privileges to ever be considered coming on a stream. All of you. Viva Argentina! Absolutely. You know, I want to talk about something a little bit here while we're on the topic of Argentina. I feel like a considerable amount of like Mexican Americans were insanely salty about Argentina winning the whole thing. And what I love about the pettiness regarding this is I think it's entirely just the fact that Messi and Argentina in general kind of just they stomped Mexico. And then you saw the picture with Messi, I guess with the jersey standing on the fucking on the Mexican jersey, and people were just kind of, I think people just kind of angrily sided with France on the internet. But I don't know, I enjoyed seeing Messi win. Like, I'm not a huge soccer fan. I haven't been watching soccer much of my life, save for the World Cup. But I mean, the guy's pretty fucking good. You can watch his YouTube highlights. He plays like otherworldly. I mean, if you look at his stats, it's like the dude was getting like a goal like every single fucking game against really good teams. And that's insanely hard to do even in like fucking FIFA games when you're cheating. But this man was doing it in real life. Mexican here, yeah, lots of Raza were salty, but Mexico did not even deserve to be there. Well, yeah, that's sort of the fucking thing. Like, and see, I understand this firsthand because Colombia's actually in a spot in the planet where their team's good, but look at the fucking neighbors nearby. So there's the reason why Colombia never makes it to the World Cup. Mexico has the horrible situation, I guess you could call it an opportunistic situation where, wow, they're next to America and Canada and a few irrelevant Central American countries. So of course they qualify and then just fail every year. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, like, if you're going to get triggered over Messi just taking a rivalry seriously, like, I don't know what to tell you. Just get off the internet. Get a novia. Do something. Get a drug addiction. Anything's better than just being mad on the internet all day. Even being addicted to drugs. Compop says, LOL reminds me this one Wignet Telegram chat and they were celebrating Argentina's win, calling it an Aryan victory. This this dude's taking credit from Castizos. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the thing. It's like I would not be out of place in Argentina in the slightest in terms of how I look phenotypically. But then Wignets want to turn around and say that it's a white country, even though they don't view me as white. Ask any Wignet, they're going to say Guillermo's not white. But then at the same time, they're going to turn around and believe that Argentina is this fucking white ethno state. It's basically Sweden, but in South America. I'm sure. And it says, to be fair, Mexicans were making fun of Argentinian squad because of the Falkland War. I mean, well, then that settles it. That's just a classic case of Mexicans dish something out, somebody dishes something back and wins, and then they get salty and cry about it. That's, no offense, that's a very Mexican thing, and that's just how it is. Let's see. The Europeans of South America beat the Africans of Europe. I mean, you could say that, sure, but I mean, dude, France was fucking killing it. I mean, they were this close. France was this fucking close to winning it all again. And they destroyed everyone last time. Funny, nobody was talking about like the Aryan victory when Croatia got just demolished by France by a team of Africans. And it's like, what's that fucking guy's name? Mape or whatever the fuck his name is? Magape? I don't know how to say the stupid guy's name. And it's like, I don't like or respect the French language, so I'm not going to bother trying to. But it's like, that dude had like 4 goals in the World Cup. I mean, including the penalty shot. But like, that's fucking insane. You can laugh at him all you want, but like, the man had one of the best World Cup final performances like in history. Like, and nobody's ever going to be able to take that away from him. He's always going to have that. Meanwhile, people on the internet are going to make fun of him because he lost. And it's like, okay, fat losers make fun of guy in France who is killing it and is already has a World Cup final trophy from 4 years ago, and he's 23. So, like, yeah, if you're going to laugh at him, go for it. Like, let's see what's going on with your life if someone puts a microscope under you. That's how I see it. What Castizo futurism does. I mean, Castizo futurism is, oh god. I'm going to do a recording with Tercio one of these days on the topic of, since he's literally the guy who invented Castizo futurism, I'm going to do one with him one day. But let's see here. Castizos aren't white either unless your paycheck is huge. I mean, basically. Basically. So let's see. You know, it's been a while. If the audience wants to step in, I'll actually let them join. But if someone upsets me or like just wants to act like a retard, I'm gonna take this thing down like immediately. It's just gonna be no fun allowed for anyone. So here you are. Got the StreamYard, and fuck it. Why don't we just turn the cam on for everybody too? Here we are. That's right. We are in live from Colombia, motherfuckers. I live here. This is my bitch, my pad. This is where I sleep. This is where I eat. This is where I do many things. So let's see. So Mark is saying, isn't OG Del Rancho going live soon, bruh? Yes, bruh. In fact, if you looked at my YouTube title, it's called Momento Hispano Pregame. It's what you do prior to a party. You pregame. Well, this is the pregame for Momento Hispano. I'm probably not even going to be on Noel's stream, but I'll have people come on and just take out. Yeah. Prior to the stream. And once Noel's stream starts, I'll end it. And I'll post a link to this one here. You moved to Colombia. I did. I did move to Colombia. I have an apartment. This is my apartment. I live here now. I sold my fucking house. And now I live in Colombia. I fucking did it. I mean, it just kind of started, but yeah, that was the decision I wanted to make, and I'm very happy with it. Let's see here. Jeffrey Rodrigo Echeverria says, are you doing the Colombian version of the Motorcycle Diaries? No. No, but I will be visiting Central America next month. Mm, but that's just for vacation. Like I am living here. Like I have family members in my barrio. I will probably be. I'm gonna be reuniting with like probably 60 of my cousins in a few days. Many of whom are flying from Europe and the United States just to attend this reunion here. I'm very happy. And this is the first Christmas I've ever had where I walked outside during the day and it was 85 degrees. I've never had that before in my life. It's always been Christmas in Chicago. Oftentimes it's snowing, but not this Christmas. And it's honestly, it's nice having Christmas and listening to Christmas music, which is unique to, I guess, Colombia. Although even the Christmas music gets a little old after a while, I would say. But I mean, it's more tolerable than like the early 1990s Christmas jingle crap that they play on the radio in the US, where it's like, have a holly jolly Christmas. Like, I hate that shit. I hate it. It's the worst. I've never liked it. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I hate that. Don't like it. I've been a Grinch with Christmas shit for a long time because of how commercialized it was in the US, I would say. Because it's like, how often do you see like nativity centers, seeing like the Virgin Mary outside when people are celebrating Christmas? You don't see that in the United States. People don't, like, whether you're religious or not isn't what it's important. It's the fact that like religion is, it's a part of the culture, and it's indicative of an organic culture that exists, that's still alive and wishes to reproduce itself in other parts of the globe. And that is what Catholicism is. And I like seeing Catholic things in Colombia. I don't like going to the mall and seeing, I don't know, like Marvel shit everywhere. Like, that's not fun to me. Like, it's extra lame when you see people in Colombia getting super obsessed with like Marvel movie shit, I would say. And those people definitely exist. Marvel movies, Harry Potter, all of the Disney shit. They love there's a significant portion of young people that get very wrapped up into that shit. Even in Colombia. And I'm sure in Mexico too. I mean, honestly, the American influence in Mexico can't be discounted. Like, these are people that share a border with the United States. They've been constantly buck broken by the United States. They continue to be buck broken by the United States. And it's not a fun situation to be in. I'm not laughing at Mexicans, but it's like, at the same time, I don't think any sane person is going to deny that like American influence hasn't reached Mexico. Like, okay. So let's see. Jeffrey Rodrigo says, the USA is a liberal Masonic country. Of course, Christmas has no value in the USA. Very true. So let's see. I'm surprised I have 12 people on. I feel like more people want to come on when you have the webcam on. It's like a weird thing that people do. But I get it. Let me see. Indio Loco says, World Wide Web is American influence. I mean, this is technically true. The World Wide Web, the internet as we know it, was initially created by the federal government, the US military to be exact, as ways to try and coordinate, propaganda warfare efforts and things like that in countries like Iran, like Nicaragua, like Russia, China, places that generally tend to not go in line with America 24/7 and have their own interests and act accordingly so. So Jeffrey also says, are you heading to Brazil? Any thoughts of Brazil being Hispanic? I mean, dude, I'm a fucking whitewashed Colombian American, like living in Colombia. I'm not here to run around. I'm not the decider of who's Hispanic and who isn't. Like, and you shouldn't look to me for that. But I will say this: Portugal, Brazil, the Portuguese people. I can tell you this: something like 90% of their language is taken directly from Spanish. A Spanish-speaking person can go to Brazil and generally learn the language really fucking fast because it's Portuguese. And vice versa. Brazilians can go to Colombia, they can go to Spain, they can go wherever, they can learn Spanish really quick. This language all came from the same peninsula. the Hispania, which is what this was called under the Roman Empire. And this peninsula was Latinized, and these people went to, you know, I mean, the Portuguese went to Africa as well. Portuguese really have this unique affinity for African people that I guess Spaniards really don't share, which is that they flooded their colonies with a lot of black people. I'm just going to be frank. I mean, if you look at Brazil, that used to be like 90% black African. We're talking like Haiti levels of black. And it took several centuries of immigrants from Europe, from Asia, and I guess from the Middle East, North Africa, to really change the racial composition that existed of Portugal. And the Portuguese, in a lot of ways, did not design their empire the same way the Spanish did. But at the same time, there are a lot of unique things that they did, which is similar to the Spanish, like mestizaje. So, despite the fact that objectively, if you study history, you study the way Portuguese people treated black slaves in Brazil, it was insanely worse than Latin America. It was probably similar to a level of like the United States, although in the South, but probably not quite as dumb. But at the same time, even they were able to get over their differences and like mix, and like now they're Brazilian, and that's their thing that they do. Americans they're not quite on that level yet, but I mean, I think in 100 years from now, the American South is going to racially look like Brazil. I do sincerely believe that. I do think the whites and the blacks are going to mix with each other at a rate that's never been seen before. And when I'm long dead, the average Southerner is probably going to be like a mulatto or a quadroon, like a pardo in Brazil. That's definitely something that is going to happen, I would say. Now, is this really the last Momento Hispano show, or is this just clickbait? Now, I can't speak for Noel, but based on what he put in his YouTube description, this is his last show for a long, long, long time. See, Noel has a life outside of the internet, and it's for the better. And basically, he has shit that is going to be way more important than live streaming to 20 Mexican Americans on YouTube, which is what I'm doing right now. So he's got plans for the future. I'm privy to some of them, and I'm not going to put them out there because that's between him and I, but he's got very ambitious plans. I think he's going to go very far with what he's doing, and I think what he's doing offline is 100 times more important than what anyone can be doing on the internet right now. Especially when you can't even say your fucking opinion on things without getting banned all the time. My last video got banned. And it was just a pretty casual talk. Like, I was just talking about a certain rapper from Chicago who says controversial things. Yeah, Kanye West. And because I said some things about Kanye West, my channel got taken down. Not my channel, but I got a strike for hate speech. People thought that my indigenous voice was speaking hatred. Some white woman at YouTube saw my video, listened to it, and determined that this Indian right here, he can't talk. He's not allowed to state his opinion on the internet. He's not allowed to do that. So, as a result, I'm not going to talk about Kanye West because I am not allowed to. I'd say Brazil is close to being Hispanic. It's certainly culturally Iberian. I mean, Brazil is like... Brazil, from what I've heard described to me from people that are born and raised in Hispanic countries, it's like almost stepping in a different universe in many ways. It's just a uniquely different experience that has similarities, I guess, with South America, but it is its own fucking thing entirely that you just have to experience. You just have to see it for yourself. I can't do any justice, especially when I've never been there. I'd like to be there one day, though. Maybe I will. Brazil, more Hispanic than Dominican Republic. Oh, man. So, poor Dominicans. What city do you live in? Colombia. I love how he spells it, just butchers it completely. Do you live alone? So yeah, I live in the city of Cali, Colombia. It's got like 3 million people, and I do live alone. Yes, I do. Imagine having an apartment and not living alone. Like, imagine being that lame. Like, yeah, of course I got my own place. Fuck it. I don't want no roommate. So let's see. Okay. I'm reading some show notes here that Noel has for this for the stream he's gonna do in an hour. Less than an hour, actually. Looks like you guys got a lot of fun things to listen to. Yeah, I'm aware you messed up. It's easy to rent an apartment worth pesos. Yeah, it is. It's a lot easier if your cousin owns the apartment complex and lives in Europe and doesn't charge me gringo prices, which is what I have. So, yeah, I don't pay gringo prices for rent. And why should you? That's fucked up. I feel bad for people that do gringo prices, though. Like, that shit's bad. They will rip you off. Is there subways in Colombia? So I assume you mean, are there subways in Colombia? And they do exist, but subways are more... they're not in every city. In fact, they're not in most cities. They're not in most parts of Colombia. I think Medellin has a subway system. I want to say... Let me see. I was just there 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they do have a subway. Yeah. In fact, I'm actually looking at the subway map right now. Yeah, I was on this subway. Yeah, so they have subway, and they don't only just have subways. I don't know what the term is in English, but how do I put it? It's like you get put in a pod, and the pod, it goes really high fucking in the air. Like, it's just like, it's insane. And it can bring you to a lot of spots that are like, that even a subway can't really bring you. I would say the Medellin probably has the best public transportation system in Colombia from what I've seen so far. So, let me see here. Is Dominican Renaissance a white man? Well, he's from the Dominican Republic. And he made it clear that the Dominican Republic is a European country from his little suburban home in Boston. So I have to believe he is a white man. Albeit he's not a very entertaining white man. He's kind of dull and he's kind of stupid, to be quite honest. You probably paid off a year already. Yeah, I paid it off immediately. You know how much I pay for rent? I pay $150 a month. That's it. I paid my whole year off just with a credit card swipe. Like, that's living. So we got Stan Dupe. Yo, what's going on, Stan? I remember you. Jeffrey says it correctly. Dominican Renaissance is 100% Aryan. No, he's 200% Aryan. Do live streams more often, dude? No, I don't like to do live streams often. And here's why I don't like to do it. Because I've seen it. I've seen so many YouTube content creators fall under this fucking trap. And first off, I don't want to be a content creator. Like, I'm not going to lie, I was getting kind of addicted to seeing my channel grow. You know, I'm almost at 700 view counts now. Like, had I gone consistent and I made a plan and I prepped my shit, I could have easily have thousands of followers on YouTube by now. But, like, here's the thing. It's not fun. It's kind of like alienating. And after you spend several hours a week, even in just 1 week, like recording shit, like you just feel empty. Like, you just don't feel like a real person. Like, you're honestly better off, if you're going to make YouTube content, to make pre-recorded, edited videos that are probably like 20 to 30 minutes long, you know, mostly having footage of just yourself talking with a combination of like things like videos and photos and things like that. But like having something prepped, like you have a whole thing that you're going to say. You don't have to recite something word for word, but it's like, that's a lot easier to make consistent content with than like a live stream where you're just sitting there for 3 hours. You have no prep. You're just like, man, what am I going to do? Like, that doesn't help at all, you know? Like, that just, it's bad for your brain. And honestly, you're going to run out of shit to talk about very, very fast. And when you run out of shit to talk about, it's not even entertaining for most people to listen to. It just becomes like white noise, honestly. But when I wait months and I don't have, I'm not talking, I'm not doing any live streams, I'm just living my life, and I do a live stream now, that's when I feel like I'm living, like I'm actually talking, like I can get angry for hours, and like I can actually talk about shit that's like new. But if you're phoning it in, then like, well, no. So how many bathrooms? I got one bathroom with hot shower. That's a big thing here. You want hot showers, trust me. And I got a bedroom. I got a nice TV. Got a nice sofa. Check this shit out. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is my place. Not the biggest place ever, but it's my place. And I'm proud of it. This is my home. I can go walk 3 minutes and have like coffee and breakfast with my aunt or my uncle, with one of my cousins. That's living. See? And let me talk about this. Are you a passport brother? No, I'm not a passport brother. You know why? And I just said why. Because again, I can go outside and walk to my abuela's house. I can go outside and walk to my cousin's house. I can call my cousin and they'll come and drink with me in my apartment right here. How many passport brothers can do that? Zero. None. They can't do that. They don't have family here. They're not rooted in Latin America. They're just a bunch of fucking degenerates who are going to get killed in a hotel room because they think that they're American. They think that because they're American, they're invincible. Well, let me tell you a little passport brother story, actually, because I was in Medellin a few weeks ago. So I was talking to someone in Medellin, and they were telling me a few weeks ago, this Korean American from Los Angeles, from California, he went to Medellin, and this was a big, this guy makes big money. He's like a software developer, makes like $40 an hour, way more than any of you guys listening make for the most part. He went to Medellin thinking he was the shit. He was going to party it up. He was going to get all the hoes, all of that garbage. They found him dead. They found him dead. And you know what I say? Good fucking riddance. All American passport bros deserve to die when they're in Colombia. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, I'm not going to mince words. People that go to Colombia for sex deserve to fucking die. And I don't feel bad when they die. And they die and get injured and get beat up and get robbed and they lose their kidneys very, 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 very often. Don't believe me? If you have a Facebook account, just sign up for a Medellin expat Facebook group. Like, try to join one of those groups. Every day, there's like a phone book of just like, oh my God, I got robbed today. Oh my God, this girl, she invited me to her apartment and 3 guys mugged me. Like, you hear those stories every fucking day. These American passport losers, they think that they go and they wave some money around that they're the kings here. They're not. They're getting played. They're getting played like a fucking fiddle by these men and these women that work together in organized crime syndicates or just as friends to just rob gringos, to kill them sometimes. And it's like, I don't feel bad about that. In fact, I endorse it. I hope it happens more. You heard me. So, let's read some more comments. So what's the plan in Latin America? Do you plan on going native? Yeah, that is my plan. I am going native. My Spanish is getting a little bit better every day. I have a lot to improve, but it's astoundingly better than like 3 months ago. I'll say that. And yeah, my plan is I'm going to be creating business opportunities and acting upon them when I'm in the U.S. My plan is to have business enterprises in the U.S., to work in the U.S., but to relax in Colombia. And honestly, if you are a citizen of the United States and you have ancestral connections to Latin America, that's the smartest way to go about doing it. You're in this unprecedented moment in time where you can just travel from the United States to Mexico, because I assume most people listening here are Mexican Americans. Just maybe a 3-6 hour ride at the most, depending where you live in the US, and boom, you're back home. These people can't do that. like passport bros can't do that. They can't go start a business in the US and then like hang out with their family in Colombia. That doesn't exist because they don't have family in Colombia, and they won't ever have family in Colombia. So how hard was it for you to get your passport? Do you have citizenship? I am a citizen of Colombia. Colombia has, in terms of giving citizenship, if you are born in Colombia, you're a Colombian citizen, or if you have a parent that is a Colombian citizen, you are by default eligible to be a Colombian citizen. And most of Latin America is like this. I know Mexico is like this as well. So what I did was I went to the embassy in Chicago. I filled out all the proper paperwork, and I got my passport from the embassy. I have a Colombian passport. I have Colombian national identification and everything. So yeah, was not hard at all. Super easy for me to do. It just takes a little bit of, you got to go through your files, you got to talk to your family, you got to get the fucking thing. So let's see. Dominican Renaissance, the type of nigga to listen to classical music? Nope, he's not. He's not even that cool. He probably listens to like Linkin Park. I can just see it right now. Everybody can totally envision Dominican Renaissance simping over some girl and listening to fucking Linkin Park. You all know he's done that. Damn, Guillermo here balling like G Unit. Let me play some 50 Cent right now. Shit. Oh, man. So let's see here. Make it private. I'd support a Patreon or something for streams. Now, that's something I actually would consider. But I would have to make it like... if I'm going to do streams, like I'd have to make like effort. Like I'd have to research. I'd want to like actually be productive and like at least give people that are listening new shit to listen to. But maybe I might do it down the road. Especially when collecting money online goes a lot further in Colombia than it does in the United States. Is the insurgency in this country still a massive problem for the average Colombian? I mean, it depends where you live, man. Like, Colombia could almost be like 4 different countries and like the shit that goes down 24/7. Like, what goes down here in Cali is very, 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 very different from what a random dude in Chocó or in Santa Marta is doing, you know? Is Colombia a relatively safe country? Not in the slightest. No, it is insanely dangerous here. Now, there's ways you can avoid being a target of crime, and that's mostly using common sense. Actually, oh shit, Jose Miguel is here. I don't know who you are, but I'll let you on for a second. What up, dude?
How you doing? I'm glad you made it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm actually planning on. I'm going to be visiting Bogota in July. I haven't been down since before the COVID pandemic, so I got a ton of family in Bogota and Chia.
Hell yeah!
So I do have. My mother has one cousin in Cali, but that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to be down in Cali where you're at. But
you're better off. There's Cali's. Cali's just fucking.
Exactly. So I did live 6 months down there back in 2014, 2015. So, and I loved it. I was actually working because, you mentioned before the guy making software or working software and he gets himself killed. But yeah, I was working software. I was working remote and I was actually working from down there until I was working on healthcare software. So I got a call from my employer after the Health and Human Services put out a new rules that affected the work I was doing. And they were like, you have to hop on a plane right now and come back to the States because the work I was doing had to be done within the continental United States.
I see.
So, but yeah, so that's what ruined my second attempt to try to move down to Colombia permanently. But I do plan on getting the passport. So as you mentioned, going to the embassy, getting the paperwork done. Like my mother still has her citizenship and passport and everything. So
that's good.
I need to go through the process to do that.
Perfect. And dude, I think it's completely worth it, man. I mean, like you can tell people are just happy you're here, even if they don't have the same amenities and everything that exists in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. And the fact is, 87% of the world right now is, shall we say, not on good terms with the U.S. right now. And so having a passport that isn't American, especially when you aren't an American, that's kind of useful.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, generally speaking, it doesn't hurt to have more than one passport. So I'm not even going to hate on Israelis for doing that. Like, good for them. Like, go for it. Abuse your passports, Jewish people. Anyone listening? Like, I don't feel bad. I'm a dual citizen too. What am I going to do? Criticize some Israeli for like just doing what I want to do, but better? Okay. So have you had any encounters with Colombia's finest criminals yet? I'm sure I've walked past them throughout the day, but it's like, I mean, look, I'm going to say this. Generally speaking, like a lot of people that are victims of crimes in Latin America in general, they're doing stupid shit. at a time that's like way past dark. And it's like, if you're out past 10 p.m., like you got to accept the risk that like your chances of getting murdered are going to go up like a lot. And that's just the way it is. Now, at the same time, you can mitigate these risks. If you, for example, go and drink with your cousins at their house, there's a very low chance you're going to get stabbed. If you're going to go bar crawling at 3 in the morning in Cali or Medellin, oh yeah, there's a ginormous chance you'll probably get robbed at 3 in the morning. But it's like a lot of this stuff is just having common sense, dressing like a Colombian and actually looking like a Colombian doesn't help either. It's interesting because I'll say this. Colombia has a lot of, like, Colombia is very multiracial. It is the most multiracial country on the planet. But at the same time, I'll also say this. Like, yeah, Colombia has white people, but they don't look like Americans. Like, you can see a guy that looks 100% white in Colombia, but like you just know by his face and what he's wearing that like that is not a white man from the U.S. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's exactly like that. Oh, we all are. That's the fun part.
That's my family's split 50-50. It's like 50% are as white as me, and the other 50% are very mestizo, like more so than you. So it just is how it is.
Yeah, I'm like probably one of the more mestizo people in my family by a lot, I would say, in terms of looks. But that's just how it is. So yeah, the hookers drug and steal from foreigners there. Yes, they do. Like,
so why are you going for hookers? That's the question.
But it's like, dude, like that's sort of the thing. Like, is your life that sad that like as an American who has no ties to Colombia that like you just see it as a place to get hookers? Like, there's nothing else you want to do. There's like a ton of cool shit you can actually see, and it's very safe during the day to like look at these things. Like, why not just actually have good experiences that doesn't involve you losing a kidney in some place that smells like shit? I don't know.
Because that's the thing. Like, I'll say, like, just from my own experience, that 6-month period I was living there, I only had one crime issue the whole time, and I just got pickpocketed once on the Transmilenio when it was just super during rush hour. Yeah, in Bogota. And
that'll happen.
That one time, and that was it. It's but the thing is, like, I was there with family, friends. There's a girl I was dating at the time, and she had like I was renting a room at a friend's house within the neighborhood where her family lived, and so she had like 36 cousins, like half of whom I already knew, living within 5 minutes walking distance of where I was staying. So I knew, like, literally everyone, like, this is in Bogota, but like everyone in like the 3 blocks around me.
Yeah.
Like, I was within two mean, like, what do they call it? Two degrees of, or relationship degrees away from them. So like that's, if you're in a place where you know everybody and everybody knows you, you're fine. Like that's just how it is.
But that's sort of the thing. Here's the thing, like, okay, because I've been like researching what a lot of these expat guys do in Colombia, because like it feels kind of icky knowing that there's Americans just running around like just trying to like exploit this country. So I research these people. I like to see what they're up to, that sort of general thing, and it's like they go to these hotspots. They move to neighborhoods filled entirely with Americans that only speak English and have no desire to learn Spanish. And then they wonder why all the places that they go to at night are like hotspots for like criminal activity. It's like, yeah, they fucking know you're there. They're looking for you. And most of you don't look mestizo like us. Like, they're going to tell pretty fast. And here's the thing, even if you did look mestizo, like, you're probably not even dressing like a Colombian on top of that at night. So it's like they're gonna sniff you out in 2 seconds.
Yeah. So even the thing is, like, and people are pretty graceful to pochos. Like, I was intentionally raised. My parents raised me to be American. I never spoke Spanish to me ever. Like they didn't speak.
Yeah, I understand.
Like, my dad only started speaking to me in Spanish at 16. It was because he took me down to Colombia for a business trip. So I was down there for 3 weeks, and of course he was busy, and so I was hanging out with my cousins and a bunch of other friends, which included okay, I'll put it this way. So I was at a school in Pennsylvania, high school, where my best friend in high school there, he was a Lithuanian kid. And he was like, hey, Jose, why don't you, go for, why is it there's no girl you're going for? Like, you got plenty of these chicks who are into you. And I'm like, but they're fat. I'm like, I'm just saying, like, high school, like, all the girls are heavy.
They're fat. That's the Midwest. Welcome to the Midwest.
So I remember showing him, like, some of the girls I was hanging out with that previous summer in Colombia, and his jaw just dropped. He was like, holy cow, what is this? And, it's like he just couldn't imagine a world where most of the women aren't fat. So
Yeah.
It's just, but that's why I started learning Spanish quick, because like I was
Also,
like,
I'll say this as well, real quickly. It's an extra shock when you see that most the black women are not fat either. Like, let's
yes,
just be real.
yes.
Let's be
No,
real.
so
You
many
realize, like,
beautiful
holy
black
shit, like
chicks.
you're like, holy shit, black chicks can be hot as fuck, and like you didn't know
Exactly.
this.
And they can age well too and everything. It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
dude, it's amazing. Like, no, okay, I'll put it this way. This might insult some people, but you know how like you got these AI generators that turn people into cartoons, etc. And people
Yeah.
complain like, oh, the AI turns black people into. Okay, you can run around, little kid. All right. Rodrigo wants to say hi. He says, "Wait, there you are." He says, hi.
Hola, ¿qué hubo, Rodrigo?
That's Guillermo. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, there are people complaining that people run the images of black people through the AI, and
Yeah.
American black women were coming back as gorillas.
Oh
For
god.
the AI. But here's the thing. So I decided to run some Dominican girls through it, and they came back as human.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like, yeah.
That is funny though.
Yep.
So how can you get pickpocketed? Literally just sit down. Okay, so he doesn't understand how this works, dude. Some people have to stand in public transportation here. Like it's not just these places are packed, especially Bogota. You got 12 million fucking people in the city. The major cities, Bogota, Cali, Medellin, these are packed to the fucking brim. It's honestly a problem that needs to be addressed with because it's like it's not meant to have that many people. Those cities.
I'll give credit.
That's a big part of the crime, in my opinion. Honestly,
it's just it's a place where people got opportunity, and the irony was too. It was in a wealthier business district, which makes sense that that's where the pickpockets are going to hang out. But that's just life.
Yeah.
But the trans millennials, some wonder. Like I know, like everyone I knew down there was complaining about like, oh, like we should have something better, and I was telling them like, hey, the trans millennial is literally 6 times more efficient than the New York City metro. So like I know people were like, Colombia's an IQ of 84 and America's an IQ of like 95 to 100. It used to be 100, now it's like 95. I'm like, yeah, but like look at the results. Like the fact is Colombia has superior public transportation by any metric. And it's not just like superior to American. Like the Transmilenio, like if you look at its efficiency numbers, it's more efficient than any rapid bus transit system in all of Europe. Like it's as efficient, as like some of the metros in Russia. Like that's
no, yeah. No, that is true. That's all very true. And let me try to respond to some of these comments here because they really like that. Let me see. Have you been to Bogota? That's literally where my mom's from. I've been there many times. Yes. How's the World Cup final over there? It was pretty good. I saw a lot of people with Messi jerseys, like during the last week of the World Cup. You saw a lot of that. I didn't see any France jerseys at all, but a lot of Messi ones. Everyone was pretty much cheering on Argentina from what I saw, and it's like that makes sense, People like the meme about Argentina being Sweden in South America, but dude, your average Argentine would not even look out of place in a spot like Medellin, and he would just chill and just vibe with everyone else. It's
yeah. Well, the thing is, even your average white Argentine, even the gene studies,
sure.
they're 16% Native American.
No, this is literally true. Your average white Argentine has more Indian ancestry than a person in the U.S. who identifies as Native American.
Exactly.
But the thing is I think Noel's going to talk about this in probably 10 minutes. In fact, let me check my phone to make sure I'm not continuing the stream. Because I'm not gonna keep this going while he's streaming. What's
exactly.
The point?
I want to see the stream. That's especially if it's his last one for a while, and I want to hear what he's up to. That's the
exactly. And honestly, Noel's a big reason why I'm here. I gotta give him credit. If I didn't run into him and we didn't talk and I didn't visit him at his house twice, who knows where I'd be in life?
Although I never visited his house, he's got a sibling who lives nearby me. Although I've never met him, but at some point, whenever Noel comes through, Central Texas area, hopefully I'll run into him at church. So he's supposed to visit.
So we have here, Tokyo has a huge population, yet not much crime at all. This is true. However, there's a few trade-offs with living in Tokyo, in which I'd prefer to live where I live here instead of Tokyo for this major reason. Colombia, I can literally walk up to strangers and say hi and have full-blown conversations and make friends. You can't do that even in America for the most part, let alone Japan. People are very insular. People are very cold. People don't want to talk to you. Like I guarantee if I talk to 10 random girls that I've never met before in the US and I try cold talking them, not even like trying to hit on them or anything, just like being friendly, just trying to talk, probably 8 or 9 out of 10 will just like try to leave or go away, and like it would be the exact opposite in Colombia. They would just talk to you and like want to see what's up. Doesn't mean that they're interested in you romantically, it's just they're more friendlier. And that's something that I've noticed more in Colombia in general is that like you actually have legitimately more mixed friend groups where like men can be friends with women, women can be friends with men, and it's not this whole like, is this going to be a romantic thing or not? It's just like we just have mixed friends. That just isn't a thing in the U.S. anymore, in my opinion, for the most part.
That is true. No, I can say that from my personal experience. That's very true. That's something I didn't even notice until you mentioned it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you kind of just, I don't know, I've been meaning to articulate in a while just hanging out here. But yeah, we have, Mark Sanders says, Gabachos doing the same in Mexico, don't learn Spanish, hang out among themselves, and only move there to exploit the low rent. Yeah, dude, that's fucked up. Like, that should not exist. It's honestly a shame that, like, the people that run Colombia allow it to happen.
Well, it's because the government's a satellite state of the U.S., and that's been the case since 1948. So it's, I mean, even before that, I mean, what happened in 1948 was essentially Colombia went from being a de facto vassal of the U.S. to being an outright puppet. So, like, you couldn't even become mayor of Bogota without getting vetted by the U.S. State Department. So it's just, it's crazy.
It is fucking crazy, yeah. They'll cook your dog too. Jesus, Stan. I mean, yeah, they probably will, but to be fair, like, I don't try to
make it taste good, like really good. It'll be fantastic.
Now, to be fair, there were Latin American Indians that were eating dogs too, if we want to go into that topic. And they were kind of like livestock. I mean, it is what it is. People eat what's there. And dogs are, when you're hungry, they can be tasty. But I have no desire to eat dogs. Ibero-American been screwed up since 1810s, probably longer than that. What are your thoughts on Brazilian presidential election? I mean, I didn't pay much attention to it. Like, I'm not Brazilian. I've never been there. It's like a whole fucking different universe in Brazil. But it's like, just from an outside perspective, I felt like there were a lot of parallels to the U.S. ones that, like, they were almost intentionally trying to make happen again. You know, with the whole, like, unexpected outsider wins by a hair the first time, and then next election, oh, you have all these mail-in ballots and COVID and all of these question marks and shady activity, and like, oh, what a surprise. Like, you know, the guy who everybody you hate wanted to, you know, who everyone you hate won, you know, or who the guy who everyone you hate wanted to win won. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, I don't fucking know what goes on in Brazil. Like, talk to a Brazilian about that. Like, I'm not going to talk my ass off about a place I don't know. What do you think about Petro? Is he woke or based? I think he's an intelligent man, but I mean, he's probably doesn't have the good of Colombia in his heart, but he's not stupid. I don't think he's not a stupid Hugo Chavez communist. That's not him. No.
I know he's taken American money in the past, so...
Who hasn't? Who
exactly.
hasn't?
So it's just something to keep aware of. Like, even someone who calls himself a communist, like, they're still going to take the American money. It's so how much influence the U.S. has with him? Don't know.
I mean, a lot of these people think like AOC is a communist. Like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Like, AOC is just an American lapdog. She's not ideological.
She's an actress.
She's a very mid Puerto Rican who like makes Americans go crazy because they see a thin Latina girl for once in their lives and they're not used to that in the U.S. That's all it is. I said it. Fuck all of you. You know that's what everyone was thinking. Yeah. What's the safest part of Hispano America to relocate your family to? I would say you definitely want to go find a nice cheap spot in Cali. It'll be really nice. The cheapest, better. I'm kidding. Don't fucking do that.
Where you have family, that's the safest place.
No, that is actually true. Like, where you have family is the safest place. Like, you don't want to stand out, especially at night in Latin America. That's like the number one asking for trouble. Even normal Colombians get robbed at night. You think they're not going to target you if they know you're different? Of course they will. And that's another thing, too. So when I was talking about earlier how you could potentially like talk to 10 women and yeah, 9 of them are going to be friendly and interested, I don't think that's an intelligent thing to do if you're like not perfect in Spanish at the same time, men or women. Because like you don't like if you don't want to like get the reputation and like everyone to start to know that you're that person that is not from Colombia. It's really not a good idea to draw a ton of fucking attention to yourself in Colombia. Just shouldn't do that.
Mhm.
That's where probably a lot of these people why they get robbed in Medellin, these gringos, as I said before, because they live in the place where people only speak English. They walk outside of their place where everyone knows they only speak English. They're wearing like sandals with flip flops with socks on and shorts,
Mhm.
even though it's cold outside and it's Medellin, but it's not cold to them. So they think, oh, I'll wear shorts. But everybody from a 100-mile radius knows you're not Colombian if you're wearing shorts outside at night. And it's like Medellin. Maybe in Santa Marta you can get away with wearing shorts because it's like 95 degrees during the day. But
Mhm.
like even most people there, most people there are probably going to wear jeans at night when they're dancing.
Mhm.
Maybe not everyone, but a good percentage still will, I would say. But if you're in a colder city, everyone's got jeans on at night. Like you can't do the shorts shit. Even if you look mestizo, they'll know in 2 seconds. Where to go in if you have no family in Hispano America? My roots are the American Southwest, going back hundreds of years. Man, I can't help you.
I mean, also, why leave? Like, if you got hundreds of years, I mean, there's a reason why I'm living in Tejas. It's like being stuck in the U.S. It's like I want to be in the Southwest. So if you're here, you got family here. I got a brother who's studying to be a priest out in the Moreno Valley in Neo Mexico, and that's just it's not a bad spot to be in. Like the U.S. It's on the clock, and it's in the Southwest. It's a great place to be as the U.S. collapses internally. So,
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with being in a Southwest town where they just speak Spanish?
mhm.
If that's where all your roots are from, you might as well just find one of those places.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, you can go to Mexico, and maybe you should spend some time in Mexico. Maybe I don't know. You can probably find some sort of work in Mexico. Maybe teach English or something and meet people there. But like, if your family's all in the Southwest, you should, for the most part, just set your roots there.
Mhm. Especially since it's going to be drawn into Mexico's orbit. Like, I'm more of a I just see it as kind of more or less inevitable that what the territory that was once New Spain will eventually reform over time. But it's not something I have any intention of rushing, but it's something that I just see as naturally happening. So kind of like how you can just look at, like, for example, Russia. It fell apart with the Mongol invasion, etc., and it was shattered into 24 principalities. The Spanish America was shattered into 24 different states after the Anglo-backed revolutionary.
Wasn't Mexico almost like 7 countries at one point? Like that shit is like wild
That's
Mexican history.
Yeah, yeah. And so we've been under 2 centuries of our equivalent of 2 centuries of occupation, and I just see it as inevitably historically. I mean, you got same faith, same language, same shared history. It's just it'll naturally reform over time.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that are definitely going to change, but here's what I think. Honestly, I think so it's kind of responding to this and you at the same time. It's kind of like, is the USA too big to fail? I think USA's got probably like 20, 25 more good economic years left, I would say, of like just pure economic momentum. The fact that there's still literally millions of people every year, new people that come in that are ambitious, opening up enterprises. That's going to keep it afloat for a little bit. I think we have a solid, probably 25, 30-year span, maybe 20-year, where there's a lot of shit to fucking loot from America. If you're smart and know how to identify business opportunities and capitalize on them. And they're not going to be there forever, but when that time's over, I do think a lot of people are going to be incentivized to go back to Latin America, and
Mhm.
that's going to be a very weird situation for a lot of people. Now, one thing that I do think is important to watch out for is the gringos that are in places like Mexico City, Medellin. They're also setting up roots in these spots in Latin America, and they're not
Mhm.
stupid. There are many things. They're arrogant, but they're not stupid, and they're buying a lot of essential real estate too. And they're going to be a problem, even if the U.S. empire crumbles 10 years from now. They're still going to be in Latin America, and they're still going to be like an issue to deal with. that's not going to be easy to deal with.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
kind
there's
of
truth to that, but it's like I don't know. I kind of I don't think it's going to be too like what's the word I'm looking for? As the American Empire folds in on itself, I also like the thing is they're gonna choose two ways because they are small in numbers. They're either going to go back to America or they Hispanicize. I mean, which can happen. Like one of my mom's sisters, married an all American, whose family came here to New Amsterdam, literally in 1648. And he speaks fluent Spanish now. All of his kids speak Spanish. It's so that happens too. So it's I don't see it being that complicated. And the thing is, historically, Hispanidad has a good history of handling minorities. Like the only people who have
yeah.
a better history of handling minorities, is I'll probably give Russia, and I think we're better at it than the Han. So
Yeah, so anyway, guys, everybody listening, Noel just texted me. We're going to start in like 5 minutes. So I'm putting the YouTube link in the chat right here. Let me show it. Join Noel's fucking thing. I'll probably be on too. And yeah, you guys have fun. It was good talking to all of you.
talking to you
Peace
too.
out.